Generation 9 of Pokemon has officially been revealed and is coming later this year, and I am so excited about these new starter Pokemon. I mean, how could you not be excited with Donald Duck, an enemy from Mario, and a cat? It's literally just a cat. What is up, everyone? It's the Munch, and welcome to the first trailer breakdown for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. Although maybe I should say, ¿Cómo están, amigos? Bienvenidos a España! It is definitely looking like these games are going to be based on Spain, or I guess the whole Iberian Peninsula, which encompasses Portugal and Spain. And today we're going to be covering that and all the other information we've got for the Generation 9 games based off this first reveal trailer, and any information we've got on the website, including the types for the starters and my predictions for their evolutions. So be sure to smash that like button if you're excited for Gen 9, and let me know in the comments below which of the starters you will be picking, which is actually a good place to start off this video because the official English names of the starters have been revealed. So our grass cat is going to be called Sprigatito, we've got the fire croc Pokemon known as Fuecoco, and the duckling Pokemon Quaxly. There's definitely one of these that doesn't really fit with the other two. Quaxly, why didn't you get a Spanish name like Señor Patito? I especially love how there's already so many duck water type Pokemon, yet somehow Quaxly manages to stand out as the weirdest looking one of the bunch. But the origin of the names for the starters themselves, Sprigatito comes from the word sprig, which is like a part of a plant, I believe, and gatito, which translates to little cat in Spanish, so it's a little grass cat. Fuecoco comes from fuego, which obviously means fire, and the coco part actually comes from cocodrilo, which is the Spanish word for crocodile. So despite looking like a dinosaur or little dragon, it is actually a fire crocodile joining the gang of crocodile alligator Pokemon. I'm not sure about the origin name for Quaxly actually, if there's any Spanish inspiration there, but yo, this art right here in the background, what is that detail? I know I was already kind of ragging on the graphics of the game, but seeing this screenshot specifically, like, man, look at that bag and the texture on the shorts, like, damn, okay, Game Freak, you're definitely improving the graphics slowly, but also the general art style, I don't know if that's the right word, but I feel like the main characters look a lot more like the new Pokemon Snap style of graphics than like Sword and Shield or Legends, for example. When you put them side by side, it definitely looks more like new Pokemon Snap than those other games. But at the end of the day, I feel that graphics aren't really the most important thing to Pokemon. I mean, it's the Pokemon themselves first of all, and the actual adventure, which this game so far from the trailer looks like it's going to be quite the journey. Which brings us to our next bit of info coming directly from the Pokemon site. It states that in these new titles, the Pokemon series takes a new evolutionary step, allowing you to explore freely in a richly expressed open world. So for the first time ever, Pokemon themselves are actually using the term open world to describe these games. And already I've got so many questions like, is this gonna mean we can go to any gym in any order that we want? Because that is something I would absolutely flip over, but for now we don't have clarification. All we see are a couple of screenshots, or well, scenes that show off very open areas in between the cities. Various towns blend seamlessly into the wilderness with no borders. You'll be able to see the Pokemon of this region in the sky, seas, forest, and on the streets. You'll be able to experience the true joy of the Pokemon series, battling against wild Pokemon in order to catch them. Now in an open world game that players of any age can enjoy. Dude, I just cannot believe the fact that they're really saying it's an open world game. Like, this really is the first open world Pokemon, and that is really exciting if they can pull it off properly, which after how well Pokemon Legends was received, I'm pretty hopeful that they can nail this one. I'm more curious, for example, about how they'll implement trainers into an open world, because normally the Pokemon games are broken up into routes that go in between the cities with the gyms, and it's really easy to like plop down trainers in your way in a route. But in an open world game, I guess trainers might be a little bit more tricky to implement. Like, I know in Pokemon Legends, sometimes you can randomly find the three sisters in a certain area, and if you walk close enough to their radius, then they'll just spot you and initiate the battle. Like, instead of walking directly in front like in the old games, it's just a big circle around them. Like, they got that 360 vision or something. I'm also really curious about Poke Rides, because that was a huge part of why the open world, or I guess semi-openness of Pokemon Legends felt so cool to explore. Like, in reality, there were a lot of empty areas, but riding around on Wordy or flying on Braviary, it felt a lot smaller and therefore you didn't see as much of the emptiness. But in these games, I don't know if we're going to have necessarily poke rides. I mean, I assume that we're at least going to have a Pokemon that helps us surf because there's like big lakes shown in the trailer. Poke rides could become a new staple of the series too. I mean, they were in Pokemon Sun and Moon, not in Sword and Shield, but I could see them definitely coming back in these games, or at least some kind of way to use your own Pokemon to surf or fly about. I feel that that would be the evolution. Like, instead of just having a dedicated Wordier or Braviary to fly you, you can use any of the Pokemon in your squad capable of surfing or breaking rocks, for example. Oh man, now I'm really curious how much of the gameplay from Legends will cross over. Like, will you be able to just walk up and throw a Pokeball right at a wild Pokemon, or is it gonna stick to the traditional you have to engage in a battle in order to catch? Because this is more like a main series game, you know, like we're going a little bit back to the formula that's always been around, but also have a bit of elements from Legends. But these are things that we don't know, and this video is supposed to be focused on what we do know. So let's move on to our main characters here, and for the first time it looks like they're gonna have different designs based on which version you pick. So in Pokemon Scarlet, you've got like an orange school outfit, and in Pokemon Violet, we've got a purple outfit. Makes sense, because Scarlet, I mean, it's more like red than orange, and then Violet, definitely on the purple side. I will say I kind of prefer the orange just because, I mean, you know my name, right? But I'm not a big fan of the outfits in either game. I just don't like the fact that they're like school outfits. So the second I see a boutique in these games, I am about to customize the heck out of my character. I am not wearing this school outfit through the whole game. Even though the choice of outfit makes me curious about what the story will be in these games. Perhaps we're like a regular school kid that doesn't really care or know much about Pokemon, but then we get suddenly thrust into adventure. Like in Sun and Moon, I think we just went to Alola on vacation and ended up fighting gods for some reason. One thing's for certain, the region is 100% based on Spain and Portugal. Like, just look at these screenshots from Mr. Lugre, aka Editor Sama. We got Pikachu in the very colorful looking square, and then a picture of, I actually don't know what city this is. I wanted to say Barcelona, but it probably isn't. But if you still had doubts, there's the, I'm gonna assume, Pokemon League building. I guess it could just be a gym, but it's very extravagant if that's just a gym. Anyway, it is totally based on this cathedral in Barcelona. This time for real, it's the Basilica Temple Expiatoria de la Sagrada Familia, aka just Sagrada Familia. It's a giant cathedral in Barcelona, and it's totally the inspiration for this building. The player's house was what sold it to me though. Like, this is clearly a Spanish style construction with like the roof tiles and just the way that it looks overall. I especially love the fact that Game Freak put 4 different tree models in one shot just so people don't complain about the trees. I gotta give a shout out to the tweet noticing that one. Also in the player's house, we see a couple of paintings, one of which is a flamenco dancer typical of Spain. And there's even windmills, which I remember in school reading the story of Don Quixote, and there was a lot of windmills in that. And during the live action intro segment with like the cop breaking into the office, you can actually see a map of like the Spanish or Iberian Peninsula on the wall. That 100% confirms it right there. We're going to España, boys. I'm with you there, PokeJungle. I can't help but think this means something. It's really hard to make out what it could be exactly. Maybe the new Evil Team logo. It has a very spiderweb looking design to it, but yeah, it's just really hard to tell what the heck it could be, but I guarantee it's a hint to something. Like, this isn't just some random logo they threw in there. Another interesting thing in the live action segment, there's these 2 shields on either sides of the door, and one of them actually shows what looks like an orange and the other has grapes, which totally represents the colors of the game, but could also represent oranges and grapes in different parts of Spain. Like, different regions grow different fruits, so it could be like feuding clans or 2 different evil teams. I think that about does it, so let's move on to a little bit of speculation. First off with the release date, because the trailer only says it's arriving late 2022. The first trailer for Pokemon Sword and Shield actually said the exact same thing, worldwide in late 2019, and the trailer for Pokemon Sun and Moon said holiday 2016, both of those games ended up releasing in November, so it only makes sense that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are also coming in November of this year. And that is still insane to me. 10 months, we're gonna have another new Pokemon game? Not even less than 10 months. What the I gotta get some predictions in for the final starter evolutions though. For Sprigatito, it really doesn't give off much vibes of anything. Like, I've heard some people say grass and dark, I guess because Litten was also a cat and it became fire dark. The one thing I really hope is that this cat actually stays on all 4 legs. In fact, for all 3 of the starters, I'm really hoping that they maintain their more monster-like appearance instead of just becoming humanoid. I don't want to say furries, but like the last few generations, the starters always look really cute and monster-like in their first stage, but all end up just turning into like bipedal humanoid creatures. I want these guys to stay more monster-like. And it feels pretty hard to mess that up considering we've got a little crocodile. Please don't turn it into a humanoid crocodile, and like the duck, it's gotta stay a bird, right? So I'm just gonna lock in a random type combo for Sprigatito. It's gonna be grass and steel type. I don't know why, I can just imagine it growing big steel claws and maybe that being a thing. For Fuecoco though, first instinct is to go with fire and dragon because it looks like a little dinosaur dragon thing, but if it's actually a crocodile, I feel it might be more likely that it's a ground or rock type. And my fiance Karen actually brought up a good point that the little hairs on its head kind of look like a volcano erupting, which could mean it actually does become a fire and rock type because like volcanoes, magma, you know, fire and rock. It would actually make sense if this little dude became a volcano crocodile. Finally, we've got Quaxly, which again is pretty obvious. You would guess water and flying type, but there's been so many water and flying type ducks already. Like literally just last generation, we got Cramorant. Before that, we had Swanna. And before that, we had Pelipper. So like, do we really need another water flying duck? Yes, absolutely. That is not what I'm going to guess for Quaxly. I'm going to actually say it's going to become a water and fighting type. Do we have a water fighting type starter? I don't think so. I could see them pulling a curveball, kind of like with Decidueye, who started as a grass and flying little owl, but then eventually ended up grass and ghost. This little guy is just pure water type right now, but it could totally evolve into not a flying type. Maybe it's a flightless bird that just kicks you in the face with its big blue feet. Pokemon fans have been blessed recently, dude. Diamond and Pearl remakes, Legends Arceus, and now Violet and Scarlet. Like, I did not expect Gen 9 to be revealed so quickly after Legends, and yet here we are basking in the glory that could be an open world Pokemon experience, and I can't wait.